Tracks and conversations.
WERUradio is the urban sound of pride, and I am elated, excited. I am ready to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who have yet to make up your minds, a wonderful woman who has created a character who is to me. Let me see if I got it right here, Carissa. It's a mixture of Marilyn Monroe, Bette Midler, Karen from Will and Grace, and and the fairy godmother. I forgot to add that one in. Put that all in a pot,
Amazing.
shake it together, and out comes the character known as Lucy Darling, created by this magnificent woman, Carisa Hendrix. She is here with us today. How are you?
Good afternoon. It's noon here in Las Vegas.
Oh, yes. And hot, still there, right? Yes.
It's pretty hot. It's like livable at this point. I was here in August, and when the air is trying to kill you, this is much better.
Speaking of hot, you have a show in Vegas starring the one and only Lucy Darling. Who you created. Let's go back because I want to go on this journey with you. And you were sitting there, probably twiddling your thumbs, probably like me, creating a character in your head, talking to yourself, and then poof, Lucy Darling probably came out. But tell me about what that journey was like.
Oh, it was wild. So I've been doing characters my whole life, but it was always an attempt to keep the things I did very separate because I cannot focus. And so I still walked and I ate fire and I had a sideshow act and all this stuff. So everything had its own character so that they would be more like the brands would be more separate.
Yes.
And then as I started studying character work to do a better job of it, I really fell in love with it. I fell in love with this idea of like putting on this other person and exploring what it was like to be them. And it taught me a lot about myself. Every time I would create a character, that character would, teach me about what of those elements I envied or I didn't wanted to indulge and clearly, came up with. But Lucy was different. I had this idea in my head for probably 3 years before I did anything with it of this woman, this like impossible, beautiful, elegant. One second, like like incredible woman, this impossible creature. And I was so inspired by exactly right, like Bette Midler, but also Zsa Zsa Gabor and Eartha Kitt and Mae West and like all these like impossible glamorous women who were so clever, Dorothy Parker style, witty banter. And I was watching a ton of old movies, Bringing Up Baby, What a Way to Go, movies like that, these screwball comedies, and I was obsessed. And I wanted in, it looked so fun. I wanted to play. And then I built it a little bit. It was quite a slow roll because something like this felt so huge, and it's really easy when something is so intimidating, so far outside of my comfort zone. Everybody just puts it off. I put it off, everybody puts it off. And then around December, I think it was, Zsa Zsa Gabor passed away.
Yes.
And it really affected me. And I didn't know why because, I didn't know her. And I'm very rarely affected by like celebrity deaths. But this one really got to me. And I really thought about it. And I realized, oh, I know why. Because she's the last one. That's it now.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
And it was such a call to action to go, okay, well, it can't be gone. And if and I could feel like there were more people like me that were like, okay, well, we're going to just take that and we're going to put it on. It's going to survive through us. And I wasn't the only one. I think that aesthetic took off in a few people, but I was one of them. And it was like a double down. Within 6 months, I had an hour-long show. The accent, the costumes, everything. Because like just when I realized that there was about to be a whole generation of people who would never be able to experience this in the way that I did, I was like, no, that's not going to happen. I got to fix that right now.
And if you ever get the chance to experience a Lucy Darling show, it is half camp, half magic, half crowd work. Well, that's a third.
It's 6.5 shows.
Yes. And it's an amazing, amazing show. And you mentioned that old Hollywood feel for Zsa Zsa Gabor and the others, and Mae West, who's another one of our favorites, who a favorite to the community, of course. If we're going to throw her in there as well, we might as well throw Judy Garland in there as well. If we're so when you're up on that stage and I'm watching you, the discovery of you, as a matter of fact, was one night I was doom scrolling. Me and my husband were really doom scrolling together because the family that doom scrolls together stays together, right? So
Correct.
I was doom
Feeling.
scrolling and I was like, oh my God, Oh my God. And I'm on your feed and I'm flipping. And I turn to my husband, I'm like, you have got to see her. No, no, look, no, because he never wants to look. He never wants to look. No, look. And he's like, I love her. I said, I told you, I told you, I told you. So it's just amazing. How did you know? How did you work in that whole crowd work? Because your crowd
Mm.
work is top of the top of the top tier. Like, if anybody wants to know how to do crowd work, watch her, study her. How did you interpolate that with the magic and with the personality? How did that all come together? Or did it? Was it intentional?
Well, I think it was a little bit intentional, and it was a little bit like just noticing things worked and just leaning into it. So I started doing crowd work when I was a street performer because it helped audiences. And there's no better teacher than being a street performer, because if people don't like it, they walk. And so you have to get good really fast. And I never was a very good street performer, but I always think of it as like that was me going to college for this kind of art form. Then I moved into bars. Bars were the same thing. Crowd work really held the audience and made them behave. It made me safe in a lot of ways, because a lot of the time I'd be like, tiny 5'2" little thing in a room full of big body people in like the middle of Saskatchewan. And it was amazing how, like, when you had a little attitude, you even with my frame, I could put people in their place. And it just sort of built from there. When I was creating Lucy, I realized that I want the show to feel like a dinner party. That, we're throwing this dinner party and everybody's part of it. And a good host at a dinner party will make you feel like you're the star. Like, they will facilitate an environment where the guests will entertain each other. And so that was sort of the philosophy of the show. So what's so funny about all of the crowd work doing so well is that what you are seeing in those videos is, in a way, I don't want to give away too much, but I'm basically casting the show. Because all of those people I talk to, all those details they give me, those get sucked into the show and they change the nature of the show. So if you've seen the show a few times, you'll notice it's like quite different from show to show. And that's because whatever raw material I get off the top, that's what I use.
What's your name, my love?
Matthew.
Matthew! Okay, not Matt. You're gonna make me say the whole thing. Okay, that's a very straight man thing to do. Matthew, darling, what do you do?
Oh, I'm a psychotherapist.
A psychotherapist?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just kind of... How fun! What yucks? It makes me very nervous, yeah. Because I feel like now you're judging me.
Well, how does that make you feel?
Okay. Like maybe I should put you in the third row. So cute, you're cute, and I just... Oh, goodness, darling, what's your name?
I'm Julie.
You're Julie. Oh, I like the way she said that. I'm Julie. What does that mean about her personality, that she had to say, I'm Julie? Ah, we like it. The psychotherapist approves. Julie, what do you do?
I work for an attorney's office.
You work for an attorney's office, and you said that in the most defeatist way possible. Do you not enjoy it?
Oh, no, I do not enjoy it.
You don't enjoy it. But the money's real good. Second row money. How long you been doing that?
3 years.
3 years. You have had a job you don't like for 3 years. Wow, okay, good.
It's going to change.
It's gonna change. That's what they say every year. And what do you have to say about that, Matthew? Yeah, patterns, okay.
Just tuning in this morning, we are speaking to Carisa Hendrix, who is the brainchild behind the brainchild, Lucy Darling. And so when you were creating her along this journey, if you will, when was the moment that you knew that it caught fire? That you knew, like, wait a minute, she's her own entity. I can't control what's happening right now.
It was the first show.
Really?
So I'm a fool, and I thought, the best way to try this new character is to write an hour-long show, fly to Australia where no one knows me, and do the whole show. And I had written it for me and my now ex-wife, my then wife, to do it. And she left the show like day one, basically. She was over it. I think a lot of straight couples have a baby to save a relationship. We wrote a show. I wrote a show for us. That was my plan. Didn't work. And so we go into Australia. We're supposed to promote the show at this little venue called Moulin Beige, and it's like a variety show. And she decides not to come. And so now I have no material. So I think, okay, I'll bring my fire eating stuff, and I'll bring some card tricks, and I'll just do a bit on stage. And they gave me 8 minutes. And so I get into Lucy, and I'd gone to Lucy for rehearsal before, but I'd never done it in front of an audience.
Mhm.
And I remember putting it on and doing what I always do, like listening to my tapes of the accent, getting into the modality, and then walking on stage and like feeling myself like disintegrate a little in a way that it had never had to before. And in that show, the act before me was a gentleman who had stripped down to nothing but a colander. And that colander was not being worn where you would hope. And as I go to speak, there's a baby that cries in the audience. We're at a burlesque show. We just saw a penis. Like, this is such a weird environment for me. And so Lucy does basically 7.5 improvised minutes about colander guy and the baby. And I realized I come forward again and I see the timer and I'm like, oh, I haven't done anything. And so I was like really quick, I was like, let's eat some fire. So I do like a quick fire eating set and I walk backstage. And I remember very vividly, there was when you went backstage, it wasn't like a full back area. It was like basically the back of a restaurant. And there was a ladder that was sort of tilted to the side. And I remember leaning against the ladder and thinking, all right, well, that was very different. I've not experienced that as an actor before. So, okay, I'm a little shook, but we're good. It's a good thing. And then the next couple days when I did the full show, like I experienced it more and more, and I got used to it. But it, like, literally from the first time it was in front of an audience, I went, oh, okay, it's a little bit got a life of its own. I'm only ever going to be in charge so much of this situation. I have to kind of just like let her be and just be the writer behind the scenes and just let her say what she wants because she's gonna anyway.
Now, I took the liberty of adding my own description, and you so eloquently talked about who those women were that kind of helped create Lucy Darling. But are there any people in your real life that you kind of pulled from, and maybe an aunt or another drag queen for a matter? Not that you're a drag queen, but if you were, you'd be fabulous.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, I definitely am a drag queen. I definitely think of myself as a drag queen, 100%. I mean, obviously, like grew up on Drag Race, Katya, Trixie Mattel, like super inspired. Love like how really unique and specialized and specific and precise everything is. And I really didn't think I had pulled anything from my real life. However, a few years ago, I saw a picture of my grandmother and her hair when she was like at her finest. It's like she just was the real life Lucy Darling. And I was thinking about it and I remember bringing a partner home and my grandmother like getting them drunk. And like I showed back up at the house, like I went to go do something with my mother, come back, and my grandmother has them in this like my grandpa's suit. My grandpa's still alive, but this person is now wearing my grandpa's suit, and they've been smoking cigarettes all day, and they're drunk. And like I was like, grandmother, what are you doing? And she just wanted to like be flirty and silly.
Yeah.
And she was like, she would have been 72 at the time, and it kind of made me realize like, oh, I think there's a little bit of my grandmother in this.
So you mentioned that you're a RuPaul's Drag Race fan. So am I.
Love.
But what has been some of the response from some of the people in the LGBTQI community? How have you been embraced? And have you
It's
any of the girls from the Drag Race
oh my
fandom?
god. So we had oh my god, so many like James Mansfield made me a little Lucy doll and brought it to the show.
I saw that. I did see that. I did see that.
I cried and cried, and like I didn't recognize her right away when she walked up, and then like you can see in the video that posted, like you can see the moment I go, oh my god, I know who you are, I know what this is, because meanwhile we had been told like somebody brought you a doll, and I'm thinking like a voodoo doll, like I thinking the worst. But no, it's been incredible, and like, you know, I'm an officiant. I've done only one straight wedding, the rest of them have all been gay weddings. I love it. It's been such a gift, and it's so funny because like, you know, I pass as like straight and cis, and that's given me a lot of advantages. But you know, gay and non-binary, and it's a fun game where they're like, I get accepted for the work, for like the nature of the work and the fact that the work is so progressive, and then they find out like, oh, one of us, gobble gobble, and it's a way more fun because I feel like that shows that because the character is also queer, and it makes me so happy that like they fell for the character first, and that like I did such a good job of, you know, putting the values in that and making people feel safe. The thing I've been most like so moved by is that constantly what I'm being told is that people come up to me after the show and say this is the first time they've dressed in their true gender expression in public. Is at my show, or that they came out to their family that day and then they came because they knew they'd be safe at the show, or like this is the first time they've come out in public and like been with their actual partner, or asked to use their real pronouns or whatever. And like when during meet and greet, when I hear that, it's like, bitch, shut up, I'm gonna wreck my makeup. Like it makes me so happy that we've done such a great job of creating this environment. So yeah, I do feel like I've been embraced, but it's a back and forth, right? It's like I'm grateful to be embraced, but that also is a responsibility I have to make sure that if I'm being embraced, that space is always safe for them.
Now, if anyone wants to follow you, because I know there were a lot of dupes on Instagram and the Talk and all these places, where can people follow you if they want to follow you on the social media, the real ones?
So if you want to participate in like the whole thing, like where you get to see my stuff and the behind the scenes stuff, Carisa Hendrix is every platform. Carisa Hendrix every platform. And then if you go to those platforms, there's the link to the Lucy page. Now that's for people who want to just be part of the fantasy. They don't want to see my dumb face. They want to believe Lucy's real, and that's totally fair. But that's always the best way to do it. It's just Carisa Hendrix, CARISA HENDRIX on every account, and then that account always links to the real Lucy page, and then everything else is not real. It's not real. And we have a community manager whose full-time job basically is to shut down these scammers. But like, we will never ask you for money over these platforms. We will never try to, those are all people trying to scam you. Don't get scammed. There's no golden tickets. Right. That's all scams. Don't do it.
Hilarious. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I absolutely adore what you do, the work that you do, and just being a representative for our community in a way that has, and I don't want to say this word because some people may have offense with it, but that has some way made our representation palatable for people who didn't even know they were at a table to enjoy it. And you will be here in Atlanta?
We'll be in Atlanta on Monday, November 10th, the November 11th, and November 12th.
Thank you so much again. I love you. Good luck in everything that you do. Really appreciate you. Have a good one.
Tracks and conversations.